because truth corresponds to reality, while validity just refers to how the argument is structured. So when we're asking whether or not it is reasonable to assume that God exists, we have to ask whether or not the process of logic by which we come to the conclusion that God exists, whether or not it is both valid and possibly true. Because there are going to be instances where it's difficult to prove the truth or falsehood of individual premises. And we recognize, though, that if we accept certain premises, the logic would require us to accept the conclusion. So we have to look at the premises and make those decisions. Reason is a logical analysis of the facts, of the premises. Premises are presented as facts. And determination of whether or not that logical analysis of the facts brings us to the correct conclusion. Okay, so that's what reason involves. Now, is reason really at war with faith? Well, before we get into that, let me point out this little piece about our friend Blind Justice here. Because Blind Justice has an interesting aspect to her, and that is she has no eyes, right? Why is it that justice is said to be blind? Because justice is supposed to be blind to the wealth, blind to poverty, blind to power, blind to weakness, looking only at the facts and nothing else. Okay? Is reason opposed to faith? Well, having complete trust or confidence in someone or something, is it unreasonable to have faith in someone or something, to have complete trust or confidence in someone or something? Is this an unreasonable position to take? If you argue that faith is unreasonable, then you've undercut the foundation of civilization. You can't even walk into a grocery store and buy a can of beans. Because when you buy that can of beans, you pick up the can, you look at it, you read the label, it says beans. But how do you know that you should have complete trust or confidence in that label? How do you know they didn't lie? How do you know they didn't screw up? That the bean canning factory line might have been mixed up with the beet canning factory line, and in fact you've picked up a can of beets and its label is beans. You trust that whatever is in the can is accurately reflected on the label, that the label completely describes the content of the can, or reasonably completely describes it, right? You have complete trust or confidence in people you've never met, that they have given to you a can filled with stuff that is truly beans. You do the same thing when you fill up the gas tank of your car. You trust that that's really gas you're pumping in and not water or some other liquid. When you go to a McDonald's and order a hamburger, you're acting on faith. And that faith is based on a logical analysis of the facts. You see a sign that says millions and millions of hamburgers served. When you walk into the restaurant, you see napkins, ketchup, mustard packages, all the things you need to eat hamburgers. Behind the counter, there is a description of all the different kinds of hamburgers they serve. The person in front of you asks you what kind of hamburger or other food you would like to eat. But in point of fact, you don't know that they have the food ready for you, do you? They may have run out of food. They may have not gotten their shipment that morning. Maybe the cooks are all sick and they're unable to prepare the food. Maybe they can prepare the food, but they prepare it in such a way that it is ultimately inedible. Even after you eat it, maybe you'll get food poisoning. Maybe it's not really good food for you to eat. But what do they demand of you? They demand from you an act of faith, that you pay for your food before they present it to you. You must lay your money down on the counter and receive change back, or not, as the case may be, before you get your food. You have complete faith in McDonald's, for reasons unknown to many people, that they will give you the food that you need, the food that you requested, and that it will be edible, tasty, nutritious, and all the other fun things that food is supposed to be. That faith, this idea of complete trust or confidence in someone or something, is built off of a logical analysis of the facts. If you were to walk into a hardware store, see the signs for the prices of different pieces of hardware, walk up to the clerk who's standing behind the hardware counter as he's describing how to install a sink to a customer. And if you walked up to that clerk and you asked him for a Big Mac, large order of fries, and a strawberry shake, that would demonstrate blind faith. Blind faith is the idea that there is no rational basis, no logical analysis of facts which would justify the request or the belief that you, or the confidence that you hold in someone. If you ask that clerk for a Big Mac, you have confidence, one would assume, assuming you're not joking, you would have confidence that he could supply it, but there is no evidence that he can in fact supply it. And if he did in fact supply the Big Mac, fries, and strawberry shake, that would be a miracle, because you would have received something for which you had no reason to expect you would be able to get. Okay? So this is the difference between faith and reason. It is not the case that faith and reason are in opposition to one another. Rather, faith and reason inform each other. Reason requires a logical analysis of the facts. I cannot have complete trust or confidence in someone until I have undertaken a logical analysis of the facts of the situation. And because I have at least some trust or confidence, I am willing to expend the energy to undertake the logical analysis of the facts. If I didn't trust you at all, I wouldn't bother to pay any attention to the facts that you present me. I have to have a certain level of faith in you, and I have to have a certain level of logic in order to justify my faith. I have to have a certain amount of faith in order to justify my logic. So one of the things we will say here is there is no such thing as blind faith. Okay? Blind faith simply doesn't exist, because blind faith ignores facts, and faith, as we've just seen, cannot ignore facts. I know some of you will bring forward, if you're Christians, and atheists hate this. I used to be an atheist. I know how this goes. They'll bring forward this verse, Hebrews 11:1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Now that we understand this interaction between faith and reason, can you see that Hebrews 11:1 does not contradict that? I know. Many of you have pastors who have told you that there is an opposition between faith and reason, and that if you have evidence, faith is no more faith. That is not true. Okay? Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Let's look at this, okay? If I have the evidence and it leads to things not seen, okay, that's what faith is. Faith is the evidence, things not seen, okay? All right. So, if faith equals the evidence of things not seen, then what, I may ask, is the evidence for faith? It cannot be the things not seen, right? Faith is the evidence for things not seen. When you have faith, it leads you to believe in things not seen. But what leads you to believe to begin with? Huh? What brings you to faith? That's the question. What brings you to faith is evidence. Evidence brings you to faith. That is why we call faith faith and evidence evidence. Yeah, they're two different things. Absolutely. But evidence informs faith. And then faith informs or serves as evidence for things we have not yet seen. Because you have always proven yourself trustworthy to me, I believe you. Okay? You have proven your bona fides, therefore I trust you, I have faith, and as a result, when you tell me that you plan on giving me a Lamborghini for my birthday, I have not yet seen this Lamborghini, but I have faith that it will come about because you have already demonstrated yourself to be a faithful friend. And whenever you tell me something's going to happen, it does. So when you tell me this thing's going to happen, even though I have no evidence of it sitting in front of me, I don't even see the car keys, the insurance, the title, nothing. All I have is your word. I believe it because my faith is built off the evidence. Okay? So that's the difference between faith and reason. Reason is the logical analysis of facts. Faith is complete trust or confidence in someone or something, based in part on that logical analysis of facts. And I do the logical analysis because I have faith. So faith and reason are both foundational components of what is necessary in order to find God. We could go on for hours, but this video, I think, will be done. This is the discussion of faith and reason. And I thank you for spending some time listening. Have a great day.